we'll get started. Okay, in today's lecture, what I want to do is show you how to create that graphic that I created in Adobe InDesign, excuse me, in Canva. And before I start, let me just say that our IT person, Rick, said that he has updated all of you in the Amazon workspaces. Apparently there's an update. Now, I don't know if this is going to resolve any of the problems that you were having as far as it crashing or whatever. But if you would like to try to, again, log into Amazon workspaces and access the Creative Cloud, there is an updated version of that. So he didn't specify whether or not that makes it faster or whether that makes your computer able to handle the software. But that was something that just came to my attention last week. So give it a try. If it works, great. You can use Adobe InDesign. If not, we're going to plow forward with Canva. And that's another alternative that you can use for this class. Okay, so with that said, I want to start this demonstration. I'm going to do this in Canva, and let me pin my video here. I'm going to do this in Canva and go through kind of the basics. Now, I asked you all to watch an introduction to Canva. And for those of you that can use InDesign, it would also be beneficial for you to watch how you do this in Canva, because it's an alternate program and it's a pretty good program. It's a web-based program, and it might be something that you want to use. It's very easy to use. There's a lot of features of it that I really like. That's less complex than InDesign. And so for simple projects, it's it's a pretty good alternative. And you might be at a computer that does not have Adobe on it. And so you might need to, create some graphics. And this is a great program that you can use. So I'm going to share my screen here and go to, I'm going to go to the assignments here for a sec. And this is the tutorial that I had asked you to watch. It's under Canva for Beginners tutorial. And this is a gal that kind of goes through a lot of the basics. So I'm not going to go through all of that. I'm just going to dive right in and jump into this demonstration. So if you need to know how to set up a page and all of that, it's all here. Okay, so let me launch Canva. Now, obviously, the first thing is that you have to set up an account for this, and she goes over all of that. So I'm just going to go to canva.com. And this is my Canva account. And what I've done is I've created folders. And what you might want to do is create a folder for your projects. It says all your designs, and then these are 2 folders that I had created for certain projects. So I made a 148 beginning computer graphics folder, and I had already done this example here. So, if I click on this, this is what we're going to build today. And it's basically the exact same thing that we built in InDesign. The colors might be a little bit different, but let me click into InDesign. And this is what we built in InDesign the other day. A 3-page document, and that's going to be the assignment. We're going to do 3 pages of different animals and for this project, for your first project. But in Canva, this is what you can also do, and it's exactly the same. If I click on this, it will go to the example that I built. And I put this word example in here, which is ghosted, because this is just kind of like a watermark. So you're not going to be able to cheat and use this to turn in your assignment. But anyway, this is, we're gonna build this from scratch. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the home page and we'll start from scratch here in Canva. Now, what I've done is I have given you the images that you're going to need to build this. And again, if I go back to our Canvas page, and when I post this assignment is going to be called Zoo Kiosk Display. And I'm going to post this after our meeting today. And in that, it's going to explain to you what the assignment is, what you're going to build, the size requirements, the type fonts that you're going to use, etc. We'll talk about that. And then down here is going to be the images that you're going to use for this assignment. And I'm assuming that some might be using InDesign and some might be using Canva, but regardless, you're all going to need these images. So there's the bear, there's an elk, there's an eagle, there's the Yellowstone map. And for those using InDesign, you're going to use this typeface called Chunk 5, which I've downloaded already. And all you have to do is click on any one of these in Canvas and it will download. Now, for those of you using InDesign, once you download Chunk 5, you're going to have to install it into your Windows operating system, into fonts. But just drag and drop it into fonts. If you have a Mac, drop it into FontBook, which is the Mac program. But anyway, that's what you're going to have. You know, these photographic elements to work with. Okay, so back in Canva, we're going to start. And in Canva, what you're going to do, this is a 10 by 10 inch document. So we're going to go over here to create a design in the upper right corner here. And we're just going to create a common or a custom dimension document. The document is going to be in inches, so it defaults to pixels. So just click inches. And then you're just going to click 10 by 10. Okay, 10 by 10 inches. You're going to create a new design and click create a new design. Okay, now very quickly, and I think she goes over this in the tutorial, she goes over the interface and the toolbar and the palettes and things like that. You have not necessarily a toolbar, but things that you can access over here on the left, your text tool, elements, which give you all of your shapes, and we'll go through this as we go, but that's what this is. And then when you click on this, you'll see examples of what you clicked on. So text, it gives you text examples here. It gives you styles that you can apply, or you can just start with adding a heading, a subhead, body text, and things like that. It works differently than InDesign, but for the most part, it's very intuitive, and I like a lot of what it does better than InDesign because it's faster. Okay, so we have our 10 by 10 inch page. Now in InDesign, what we had done was we had set the page up with margins. You can still show margins in Canva. If you go to File up here and you go Show Margins, you can see that the dotted line here comes out and you can see margins. Now you can't control these margins. You can't make them ½ inch or inch and a half like you can in InDesign. So as we go through this, I'm going to point out the things that Canva kind of lacks in terms of what InDesign can do. But it's not really important for this assignment. You might still want to have margins out. Another thing you might want to have is rulers out, your rulers up here. And in InDesign, when we looked at InDesign, you can see the rulers at the top of the page and off to the left side. So in Canva, we can do the same thing. We just simply go again up to File and go to Show Rulers, and you'll see your ruler appear at the upper top and also along the left side. We can bring guides down just like we can in InDesign. You just go up to the ruler and you see that arrow go up and down. You just click and drag a guide down. So that'll help you maybe position things. You can do the same thing to the left and drag a guide over and drop it. It's interesting what's happening on the left side. When I drag this over, you can't see where the guide is. I don't know why. And when I hover over it, it disappears. I don't know if that's just my system or what, but to get a guide, to delete a guide, just grab it and pull it off the page. So just grab this, pull it off the page, it disappears. So that's how you get rid of a guide. I'm going to go through all of these things fast. If you need to watch this video again, please do. But I want to make sure that I get everything done here. To add a new page, in InDesign, we started with our page setup and we added pages, or we started with 3 pages. Here, you start with 1 page. If you want to add a page, you just click Add a Page, adds another one, add another page. So now we have a 3-page document, okay? And you can see page 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so again, when we look at the elements that we have to deal with, we have text, heading text, we have what's called body text or descriptive text, we have a map, we have a bear, and we have 2 shapes, 2 squares that are different colors. So that's basically all we're dealing with, and that's all we have to build. Oh, and we also have this little circle that has transparency, and that indicates where the bears are in Yellowstone. Okay. Now, the first thing I'll do is I'll lay in that background shape, and what I'll do is go to Elements here, and if I click on Elements, these are all of our shapes, our circles, squares, triangles, whatever, along with a lot of other things that it gives you in terms of elements, just kind of different illustrations and things like that. InDesign is not giving you any of this stuff. It's just basically a shape tool that you're using. So I'm going to click on the square shape. And you notice when I clicked on it, it already gave me that shape. I didn't have to click and drag a shape. So that's kind of nice, you know, Canva just gives it to you. And then it has these handles around the corners, and you do that same thing. You just kind of drag it up and drag it over, okay? To click on it and move it, you can just click and move it with your cursor. Command Z or Control Z undoes is the undo key. And I would use that rather than do undo. Okay, now that I have this, to change color, you just go up here. This was the default color here, but you just go up to this color and you click on that, and it gives you a color palette. And it gives you kind of like, this is what would be swatches in InDesign, but it gives you a little bit more color. And then when you click on this, this will give you the range of color that you can choose from. So obviously we want kind of a brownish color. I think it was, what was that? What did we use? Yeah, it's kind of like this mauve color here. I'm not gonna get too particular about that, but I will kind of look in the red area. Again, this is the color wheel, so you can kind of move this slider around and you get variants of. And what I also like about this in comparison to InDesign is it gives you these colors and how they mix with black also. So you can really kind of hone what color you want. I'm going to grab this little white thing, move it around until I kind of find that color that I want. Okay, I'm just going to say, you know, whatever. In the essence of time, I'm just going to pick a color here. Okay, and then once you find that, if you move this around, you can find that same value in that range. So very easy to use this. Back this off a little bit. Now, if you notice, these colors are web colors, and you can't do CMYK in this because this is a web-based program, so it doesn't give you the opportunity to, or the options to specify RGB colors or CMYK colors, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. But that's okay for this. We're not going to be dealing with specific colors. So there's my background color. When you click into gray area, it deselects it. Okay, so now I'm going to put in another square. Okay, so there. And this one, I'm going to kind of bring that up in size. Okay, again, you can adjust the size, position. You have these little these little guides here that tell you what's centered, you know, so if I move this around, you can kind of see where center is. This one was a darker brown, I think. Yeah, it was kind of a, yeah, it's kind of a greenish brown, but anyway. So again, I'll go to color and I'll find my color range. This time I'll go into the yellows, maybe yellows or oranges. That's where browns live. And then I'll grab this and kind of go into my brown area and find a brown, let's say something like that. Click off. Okay, now if you don't want your margins to show, just go up to File and just uncheck Show Margins. Okay, so that's kind of what we have. I'm just going to jump back and forth to the InDesign version here, just so that we can see the comparison of this. Okay, and I'm seeing that this brown is a little bit darker, so let me just real quickly make this a little bit darker. I'm just going to go up here and just kind of bring this down a little bit like that. Okay, good enough. Okay, so we have our two shapes in here, our background shape and our inner square here. Now, one of the things that Canva does not have is layers. And in InDesign, if you remember, we set this up in layers. Okay, we had a type layer, we had an images layer. We were able to turn off not only the visibility of layers, but we were also able to lock layers so that we didn't accidentally move objects or elements on the page. Unfortunately, in Canvas, we don't have layers, but we can click through these layers. Okay, this is on top of this, obviously, and we can arrange things by going, you know, front to back. So we can arrange, you know, bring things in front, bring things and put things in back. It's in one of these menus in here where we can, I don't know if it's under, anyway, she explains that when she talks about arranging things. Okay, so what we want to do is, let's bring that bear in. So we're going to go, now normally you wouldn't have this in your Canva, you'd have to import it in. So I'm going to go to Photos. And these are all the photos that are currently in Canva that they give you. Now Canva gives you photos and you can use some for free, and then they also give you photos that you have to pay for. And you'll see as you hover over these photos which ones are free and which ones you have to pay for. So in this case, we're not going to use any of Canva's photos in the first place. We're going to bring in our own. So we're going to go to Uploads here. And you can see that I already uploaded that bear photo. But here's how you upload the photo. Once you download it from your, once you download it from here, okay, you've clicked on this bear and the elk and you've downloaded everything, you put it, you know, in a folder on your computer. Then when you're ready to import it into Canva, you're just going to go upload an image, okay? And you're going to upload the image from a device and it'll bring down your hard drive. And you're going to navigate to your hard drive. In this case, that bear photo is in my Macintosh hard drive under SBVC, under Fall, under Art 148, under Assignments, under Yellowstone, and there's the bear right there, okay? And you'll just click Open, and that bear will come in, okay? In this case, I also have an eagle, and I also have an elk, okay? And these are the ones that you're going to also use. Okay, so just for the sake of importing something, let me just import this elk. Okay, and I'm going to click Open. And there it is. Okay, you can see the progress bar. It's importing that elk. And it's in. Okay, so now I can use it in my design. Okay, I'm going to use the bear though, so I'm going to click on the bear. Okay, and there's the bear. Okay, as you click on things, it just automatically shows up in your Canva document. The background has already been extracted. I already did that in Photoshop. So unfortunately, since we can't use Photoshop, some of you, we're not going to be able to do that. But now if we can, I'm going to go over Photoshop anyway in this, in the semester. So even though you can't use it, you can still see. Okay, I'm going to take this bear, and right now it needs to be bigger. So I'm going to grab the corner and just drag it up, and then just kind of move it in position. I think it was kind of around here, where the butt here was kind of a little bit below this square. Let me check my, yeah, I can see that that's the position. I got about this much space to the edge of the document here. So that looks pretty good. The colors are way off, but that's okay. All right, and there is the bear. So the next thing we're going to do is put in the text. I already imported the map too. Okay, so I'm not going to go through that again, but it's the same thing. You'll just bring in the map, and that'll be something that I give you also. Okay, so text. Text is very simple. You just click on text. And, you know, Canva gives you these preset kind of text layouts. This one here is 3 lines of text, flush left or align left, with a little byline underneath it. So if you wanted to use this, you just click it, and there it is. Okay, and you can kind of move it into position. You can kind of size it down, place it where you want, and then you can go in and change the typeface. For instance, this one here, this little thing down here, I don't need this one. Okay, this little Angelo Brewing thing. So I can actually kind of grab that one and just delete it, get rid of it, because all I really need is this up here. And then I can highlight this and go to my fonts, which is up here. And the minute you highlight text up here, you'll see that you have font choices. And here's all your font choices. You have size choices. These are all your point sizes. You can also type in a specific point size. You can bold, italic, underscore. Here's your alignment. You can make it centered, flush right, flush left. And notice here, there's not all of these different ones like in InDesign. You know, if you go on type, you have, you know, to choose each one. But in Canva, what's nice is you just click on this and it just changes it as you click. So it's very, very fast. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, if you didn't want 3 lines, let me just delete this. Okay. I'm just going to go back and delete this whole, oops. You can select heading, and then you can kind of create your own heading yourself, you know, a 3-line heading, and adjust your leading and your type size and all of that. But because this is, I'm going to get rid of this, because this is so easy to do, I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to get rid of that. I want to size this down. Notice how Canva also, as you make the text box, you know, wider or narrower, it automatically adjusts. But what I like about it is that it adjusts the depth too, whereas InDesign doesn't do that. As you make it narrower, InDesign keeps the depth wherever it is, and you get a little overset icon here telling you that there's more text underneath. But Canva doesn't do that, which I really like about that. Okay, I am going to change this typeface to, in this case, I know that it's about 35 points. I'm gonna make this, actually it was bigger than 35 points. So let me try 48. 56 is, yeah, 56 looks about good. And then I'll just type in the brown, oops, bears of Yellowstone. And yeah, that is too big. So what I'll do is highlight this and make it smaller. Let's say 42. Bring this out a little bit. Okay, and stick that in there. Now you notice that the lines are really tight in here, the line spacing. And so what's nice again about Canva is that it's all visual. So you click up here under spacing, okay, and you can see line height. And as you slide the slider, things just kind of open up and close up until you can get it where you want. It's very visual. And that's what I like about Canva. It's like, you know, you don't have to worry about leading and plugging in numbers and all of that. So that's that. And now I might add in some text in here. Now, when we did that in InDesign, we used this type fill with placeholder text, okay? Insert fill with placeholder text. That's what we used. And it brought in this Latin kind of what we call Greeking. And unfortunately, Canva does not have that feature. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a some text. I'm going to grab, say, add a little bit of body text. Okay, so that's what it says here. Add a little bit of body text. And I'm going to kind of position this in here. I'm going to make that a little bit less. I'm going to change the point size of this to something small, like around 10 points. So it's very small. And oh, by the way, the font that I used for this, the Brown Bears of Yellowstone, was a font called it was a slab serif font, and it was called Alpha Slab 1. Okay, and I'll give you this typeface. I'll give you the name of this typeface of what to use. In fact, it'll be in the instructions here. When I show you the instructions here, it says if you're using Canva, the type fonts that you're going to use is Alpha Slab 1 and Open Sans. That's the typeface that you're going to use for the body copy. Okay, so we have that. So this is the body copy right here. And this is going to be Open Sans. The typeface that you're going to use is Open Sans. So let me highlight that. And let me go here. Oops. And it's not Open Sans Lite, it's just Open Sans. So I can just search for it and just say Open Sans. Okay, click on that. And this gives me kind of the font. Actually, I should do it here, Open Sans. And there it is, because I already searched for it. Okay. So now if I highlight this and I click Open Sans, it changed it to Open Sans. Okay, now I want to put in some of this body copy in here, this Greeking here. And since Canva doesn't have that, you can just simply go to a Google search and just type in like, here, it starts with lorem ipsum. It's really weird, but it's lorem ipsum text copy. So if you typed in lorem ipsum text copy and you did a Google search for that, what you're going to get, say in the first search right here, is an example of that. And you can just kind of highlight, copy, and paste it. Okay, so here it is, lorem ipsum Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of copy this stuff off, Command C or Control C, go back over to my Canva, and then I'm just gonna paste this in. Okay, now it's centered, so I don't want centered. I want the alignment I want in this is left. So there it is, and it is now in Open Sans, and that's pretty much done. Now, if you want to kind of inch this up, increment by increment, you can use your up and down arrow keys, up once, twice, and you can kind of position this and move this over. Okay, I'm looking at this. I'm going to go up once. Okay, get some good spacing. And now you notice the brown bears of Yellowstone. Again, when I look at that, that type is really tight. I mean, it's like they're touching each other. And, you know, that might be okay for this. We could still read it, but what I'm going to do is highlight this. And I'm going to open up the letter spacing in this a little bit. And that, again, you know, in Canva can be done through this up and down arrow here. And you also have, along with line height, you have letter spacing. So as I move this kind of out, you can see how it spaces the letters out. Okay, so I want to get some good letter spacing in here. Okay, that might be okay. And I might have to come down in my point size. So let me just kind of make this 36 points instead. And I'm going to get real picky with this and bring the letter space in a little bit tighter. Okay, so there. That's better. That way those letters aren't so smashed together. I'll click that, come up a couple of ticks, and done. Okay, you can kind of tweak this the way you want. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is put the map in. So I'm going to go over to my uploads. I'm going to click on my map. Okay, there's my map. I'm going to reduce it. I'm just going to grab one of the sides, one of the corners here, put the map in there. And the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Bring this up a little bit and kind of put the map in there. Okay, kind of looking at the Yellowstone version here. Okay. And then I'm going to put that little circle in here. So that's a shape. And I'm going to go to elements because those are where my shapes are. I'm going to grab the circle shape. Makes a big shape. It also colors it the last color that you chose. So notice how it brought it in, but it colored it brown because that was the last color I chose. I'm going to make this smaller. I'm going to put this up here. Now you can zoom in if you want to this. I'm going to change the color to red. And then to make it transparent, up here, you can see the transparency. And when I click on this, you get a slider, very similar to InDesign. When we were in InDesign, when you click on the circle here, the transparency slider is up here. See that? That's the opacity slider. They call it opacity in InDesign. In Canva, it's called transparency. And then I'll just grab this and just move it to the left, and you can start seeing how it gets transparent. Okay, same effect, same idea. And then I can click and move this around anywhere on the map and place that there. So in other words, this would be the kiosk that people would see, let's say at the visitor center or whatever. They would see these kiosks around, you know, or if this was a museum, there might be a, you know, replica of a brown bear, and you might see this kiosk. When I say kiosk, I mean kind of a display. And we've pretty much built exactly what we built in InDesign now in Canva, using Canva's tools and colors and all of that. So it's very possible to do exactly the same thing in Canva as you would in InDesign. Now in InDesign, we have many more tools for much more complex types of graphics, but we're going to start off very simple. And I'm going to kind of show you what the possibilities are. One of the great things about Canva, though, is that if you're not really well versed in layout, in knowing what a good layout is, they have lots of templates here that you can choose from in regards to different types of projects. Like if you were going to do, let's say, a magazine, you can type in magazine, and you can see a bunch of templates for magazines that Canva gives you to start with. And you can swap out photos and swap out text and, just posters, flyers, invitations, brochures, lots of different templates that you can start with. But we're concentrating on building this from scratch. Okay, so once you have this built in Canva, you're going to then build two more kiosks. One is going to be of an eagle, and it's going to say the Eagles of Yellowstone. And the other one is going to be of elks. And so it's going to say the elk of Yellowstone, or the elks. I don't know if elk is plural or not. I don't know if it's elks or elk. I think it's elk. That's plural. That's the plural also. The Eagles of Yellowstone might only be 2 lines, so it doesn't necessarily have to be 3. And you can choose some different colors. You can choose, but I will give you the layout to use, but you can choose different colors as your background. We'll use the same exact map because the map will change, will not change. And then you can use a different color for where they are. This might want to be a square or a triangle or something else. I'll leave that up to you. Now, we were talking about selecting objects. When you select an object in Canva, you just click on it and it selects. But let's say you wanted to select something that was underneath something. You can click through these layers. And the way you click through layers is you hold your control key down. And it'll always click, like this is the top layer here, but if I hold the control key down or the command key on a Mac, if I click again, it selects what's underneath that. If I click again, it selects what's underneath that. So this tells you that, again, this is on top, but this is next, and this is underneath the map. So if I were to move this bear, see how it goes underneath the map? Okay. Now, if I wanted the bear to be on top of the map, I can select this and adjust it. Okay, I'm sorry. And I think it's, there's an arrange, she goes over it, arrange things where you're arranging it to front or back. I don't know if it's, oh, those are flipping. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to fish around for this and waste time, but it's up here, the arrange, and you can bring it forward or send it back. I can copy everything, and I can copy, just do a marquee select. When I say a marquee select, that means just click from the outside with your tool and then just kind of encompass everything, okay? I can click on everything. And then I can copy that, Command C or Control C on a PC, come down to my second page here, and then just do kind of Command V, and that pastes the exact layout into my second page. Now I'm going to have to create a different, color back here. So maybe, this color is going to be like a greenish color or something. Oh, no, nothing like that. I don't want that. Maybe some kind of gray green or something back here. And maybe this color is a little bit different, and this is going to be the elk, okay? So I might change this color to something, you know, maybe more neutral or lighter or darker or whatever. Okay, I don't know, maybe a darker brown. I'll take this bear now and I'll delete the bear because we don't need the bear. I'll go up to my uploads and I'll grab my elk, and there's the elk. I'll bring that elk in. Maybe make that bigger. Place that in there. And instead of the brown bears of Yellowstone, I'll highlight this text and make it the elks of Yellowstone, or the, and I noticed here that I didn't do a good job in outlining. Oh boy, it looks like I really missed a lot of the, a lot of the inside of these antlers. So I'll fix this and I'll re-upload this before you use it, so you don't have this mess right here. Yeah, not too good. Okay, but anyway, you get the picture. And at the end of the day, what you're going to have are 3 versions of these kiosks. One are bears, elk, and eagle. And as far as the text goes, you can just use the, you know, lorem ipsum text. And you can use the same mask. Maybe you might want to change this. Okay. Now, see, I can't see how it's difficult for me to grab this circle right here because the elk is on top of it. So I'm going to hold my command key down because I'm on a Mac, and I'm going to click through that elk into this circle. Maybe make that, you know, how about a light version of green? Okay, and again, click through that and kind of, oops, and kind of move that. Oh shoot, I keep messing up here. Anyway, don't want to do that. Okay, oops. Anyway, move this around. Let me just get this out of here. Down here. Okay, put this back here. Okay, so that's how you do it in Canva. Very easy to do, very intuitive program. And I will put the assignment up. Look for it. Oh, later this afternoon. It'll be called Zoo Kiosk. I'll give you a due date. I'll give you a little bit more information and what you're going to do. And then when you're done, you're going to just complete it. And then in the next class that we have on Thursday in the Zoom, I'll tell you how to save it out in a particular file format and then upload it to Canvas for a grade. So that'll be your first assignment that you're going to turn in. Okay. If you have any questions about this, I'll be online from 12 to 12:30 today if you need to you know, have a conference with me on Zoom. Otherwise, inbox me with any questions that you have. Try out that Amazon Workspace, okay? Give it a shot because Rick gave you the updated version of it. Try InDesign again, try opening up Photoshop, see how it reacts on your computer. And if it's still painfully slow, which it might be, then we'll just use Canva for that. Unless, of course, some of you did purchase it, you can feel free to use InDesign if you'd like. Okay, that's all I have for today. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, but if I did, send me an inbox message and I'll respond to you. Okay, any other quick questions? Did that translate okay for everybody? Just give me a yay or a nay if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. Everything's all right.
Okay. Very good. Then I will see you guys on Thursday. Take care.